and thank you for joining us for our new stream on Fridays of CosChat. I'm going to be your new host, Xanth, and this week I'm joined by the wonderfully talented Victor Lockhart.
Hello there.
And we're going to be talking about, basically, it's been going around a little bit recently that some platforms are apparently easier for cosplayers to kind of make a name for themselves on than others. We're kind of not sure if we're skeptical about that or not, so we're going to have a little discussion. If you guys have any opinions on that, weigh in the chat, and we'll be able to see you going there. But yeah, that's what we're going to get started off on, and then we're going to find out a little bit about what Victor's been working on. So,
right.
Victor, yourself, you're on quite a few platforms, aren't you?
I am, yes. Some are more popular than others. I have to say, it's a bit of a kind of strange thing is gaining popularity for cosplay, because it can kind of be random, I've noticed. Especially, like, I think on Instagram, it's quite, like, sporadic in how you gain followers, and it's also very odd. Like, I find that Instagram, because it's the most public, and it's the biggest, I think that's probably the biggest platform is Instagram. I think it's much easier to get a much bigger following on Instagram than it is Facebook. I mean, Facebook, I think, is probably the hardest from what I've experienced, because people actually have to search for you. And, like, you know, they actually have to, I think it's, like, depending on the effort involved.
Yeah.
I really think that's an important thing on, like, how you gain followers. But if people can just, like, you know, put a hashtag in and go, like, oh, Grell cosplay, into Instagram, and there'll be all these Grell cosplayers, and then that's how you're discovered. You know, it's like super easy.
It's much less based, as you're saying, isn't it? Because you can kind of go on to Instagram and basically, I don't know about other cosplayers out there, but sometimes you can be looking for reference images for yourself or for photo shoots, and you stumble across another person doing the same thing as you're doing. You're like, you know what, I'm just going to follow them and see how they're making that, and steal their ideas and make it myself. So I know better what I'm doing. But like you say, Facebook, I know we've found, like, as the sort of cosplay group that I'm part of, Bandursnatch, we sometimes find that, like you say, Facebook can be a little bit harder.
I think it is. I think Facebook is definitely a platform that will only kind of raise up if people have actually kind of met you in person and you've been like, hey, go like our page, you know, like that's kind of how you build Facebook. Like, it's not really, you can't really sit back and do nothing on Facebook and it just happens, whereas Instagram, you kind of can do that, and people will just follow you if they like your photo, basically. You know, and obviously on Instagram there's like SFS and stuff, you know, like share for shares. So, you know, it's like, oh, you share my account, I'll share yours. And that's kind of an odd, almost false way of gaining followers, because it's not entirely honest. It's kind of like, you know, I often find that if, like, you gain a lot of followers from SFS, there can be a lot of ghost followers, I find. I think if people find you honestly, you're more likely to keep those followers, I think, on Instagram. Instagram's a strange place for cosplay, I think.
Yeah, it's almost like the kind of fast food of cosplay. You can have plenty of cosplay kind of rolling on through that you might not look at, whereas it's almost like on the Facebook, it's more of a sort of interaction you have, isn't it?
Yeah, it's much more like, if you really like that cosplayer, you're going to like them on Facebook. It's almost like a kind of thing, you know, whereas like people on Instagram are just like, oh, well, you know, I kind of like this cosplayer, I'm just going to follow them because I'll see their stuff. You know, it's not as a kind of big commitment, because people unfollow all the time as well on Instagram. It's very like blasé, you know. But yeah, I think
today, gone tomorrow.
But yeah, I think YouTube is even weirder, I have to say, from my experience, because I currently have 4K, maybe 4.5K, I don't know, subs at the moment. And that's been kind of crazy for me, because I only started YouTube, was it last year? Yeah, last year. So that's like a year. And some people can be on YouTube for years and years and years, and then like no one finds the channel, and that's the saddest thing. But like for me, I think it was like one of my videos, which was Victorious, which was basically a Black Butler CMV, went really quite big. I think it has about 51K now. And that's how most people have found me, is through that one video. So that's kind of surreal.
I know that
but
we
yeah.
found that, like you say, YouTube is like they're really like it's like the outlier. So when you can literally, we're one of those people who were on it for years. I think we're into like year 5 or 6 on YouTube now.
Gosh, yeah.
And we only broke 1K at Christmas.
My God, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We were like dragging ourselves closer and closer. But like you say, a lot of it is about finding that one weird video that gets out at just the right time. It's a lot of timing, I think, is involved.
Exactly.
Especially for YouTube.
Oh yeah, I think like it's super unfair, YouTube, I think. Like, I think small creators are finding it very, very hard to get discovered, because that's all it is. It's people finding your channel. It's like, it's people actually seeing it. But I think once they do, they'll be like, oh, these guys are pretty cool, you know, and then they like, you know, subscribe. But it's actually being discovered on YouTube, which is so hard. And I think that's the secret with Instagram, is that you get discovered so easily. You don't even need to try, because it's just there. It's public.
Well, like you were saying, a lot of it is the effort that you're expecting people to kind of put out for it. So with an Instagram picture, you've scrolled, you don't even need to like actually click on an exact button. You can just double tap roughly anywhere on your screen, and you've shown it's like taking the next level of almost laziness, isn't it? You just on the screen, you're like, I've shown my appreciation.
I like
you can get it with your face, like anything. Whereas like with YouTube, as you say, like you're asking someone to sit down and engage with content a little bit more, be it watch a video, or if on Facebook, which similarly difficult, actually have almost a relationship with the cosplayer that they're involved in.
Yeah, totally. Like, I can't think of any other platforms that I've had experience of. I think the other one is World Cosplay, which is kind of all obviously to do with cosplay, which has kind of got a rating system, which is like cosplayers all over the world, and you join World Cosplay, and all you do is just post images and stuff like that. But again, it's like how often you post, how many people are actually on World Cosplay, because it's not a very active community, you know. It's not as active as Instagram at all. So it's hard to sort of see if it's actually fair or not, because I think like the highest, like the most popular cosplayers on there are like Reika, and like, you know, people that people already know about, and they've gone on to World Cosplay and go, oh well, of course I love Reika, her, you know. So like, you know, it's like they've already got the fame.
Like places, isn't there? Because you had Cosplay Amino as well for a while, that was very much a kind of flash in the pan, and I remember everyone was super excited about it for the longest time. They were like, oh my god, it's like Facebook but just for cosplay, and everyone was really excited. They were constantly posting out stuff. And can we have a quick poll from the people in the chat? Cosplay Amino. Obviously, there's a little bit of a delay on from us to you guys actually hearing stuff, but I'm sure we'll find out pretty quickly that it's a grand total. None of you. Apparently there's so apparently there was a little crunch. So yeah, who's still using Cosplay Amino, or Amino, whatever you want to call it? We have Beefy Hands saying, just saying Cosplay Amino in different typed ways and making fun of how I'm saying it. And we have Seriously Now saying, I've literally never used it in the first place.
I never used it either. I never used it.
Did you not use it? No, you weren't a fan. But yeah, it it kind of shows there's things that kind of come out, and you either really get on board with it, and sometimes they last, and sometimes they don't. I'm pretty sure that if I went to it just now, there would still be the odd person posting, but like you say, with World Cosplay, it's going to favor people that are going to go on looking for Mango Cyrene, looking for Riku, looking for people that they already are familiar with, and not necessarily going, oh, I'm just going to browse through the most recent uploads or etc.
Yeah, like it's much harder for like upcoming cosplayers to actually get that sort of recognition, because it's like the cosplayers that have already made it. You know, I feel like that's like social media's become so busy. It's like so full of so many people now that it's like no one can get noticed. It's like you're in a crowd and you're like, hey, I'm here, and you're kind of jumping up and down, and you're like, and then there's a couple of people on the stage that got there before you started, and you're just like, oh, all right. You know, that's what it feels like, I think.
I think a lot of the, especially for cosplay and YouTube, the number of people that you see with really super high subscribers were people that got on really, really early. So like you were saying, it's hard to break into it now because people expect a certain level of content and a certain level of quality. So everybody's going on and they're expecting straight out the door, stuff box lighting, green screens, 4K videos from 4 angles, boom mics, and you to look airbrushed to high hell. But most people, I don't know about you, but that wasn't how our channel started. By a long shot.
I think for me, like, it's odd because I think everyone, like, as they go, they tend to, you know, they like, you know, make a couple of mistakes and you're like, oh, well, I can improve on this. And especially on YouTube, because, you know, you kind of got to come up with something familiar, like an intro and an outro type thing, or you know, you're going to have like a logo or, you know, things like that you sort of think about over a period of time. So yeah, I think like to actually sort of brand yourself can be quite difficult, like get that kind of like almost kind of clean cut image thing, you know, that can be quite difficult to get.
It's looking like you've been doing it for years and knowing exactly what you're doing when you literally just started.
Well, there actually is a backstory to my filmmaking, is the fact that I actually have been making films for years, because I started with a camera when I was like, oh god, I was so small, because my dad's a cameraman, so like, you know, I got cameras when I was really young. But basically,
secrets then. Oh, it all comes out in the wash now.
Basically, I was making films before I started cosplaying, so it was like I basically moved what I knew from filmmaking and put it into cosplay. And that's why, I mean, I'm proud of the work I do, in terms of quality as well as like my cosplay, because it's like filmmaking is something that's very important to me, you know, with the, like sound and camera and all the things that come together with it. So yeah, but yeah, getting the quality, that can be like a difficult thing to do if you don't have, you know, if you're not like gifted like I was with cameras, you know, that's pretty rare.
I definitely think that's probably in the minority of dad was a cameraman.
Yeah,
I know my dad is not a cameraman. I know my dad can basically just about turn the TV on at a push, most days. So, and even then, sometimes a brother needs the help. But yeah, it's
oh god.
Okay, so stressing without the quality, you often lose a chunk of the audience before they've even seen things. Yeah, like, I feel a lot of it is back when YouTube was getting started. So, like, you could film it on your webcam in your college dorm room, and it could basically look like it was filmed on a potato, and your wig could be on back front, but, like, you could care a lot about it, so people would be hyped, and you would then be able to grow with your channel, whereas you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I would just almost say it's very much not that now. You tend to find far less channels become popular just out of like your heart and soul was in it, as opposed to there's a certain level of quality there to back it up.
Yeah, I have to say that's kind of like heart-wrenching, I think, because like the whole point of cosplay is to like, you know, have fun and do it for yourself type thing, and I feel like as soon as you're like trying to appeal to this audience which is so like particular now and so picky, that it's kind of, it takes the fun out of it, because they're like, because you're sort of fighting for this sort of like, you know, broadcast quality stage now, you know. It's pretty crazy, I think. Yeah, it's kind of sad.
At the end of the day, you're trying to persuade people that they want to watch 20 minutes of you, not 20 minutes of Rooster Teeth. And I don't know about you, but that is not the budget that I am running on. I don't have a couple of people and sponsorship running my kind of show. If anyone out in the comments has that, then or is looking to sponsor a small cosplayer,
yes,
so they can do that, then please hit me up, because that'd be really cool.
Pick up the phone.
Pick up the phone. Do people still do that, or do they?
I feel like that. Yeah, that probably shows
I think that's how
our
you
age.
Your age is how you hold the phone.
Yeah. Oh. But yeah, social media. It's become a big sea of people. It really has. It's quite terrifying, I think.
Yeah.
It's just
at the end of the day, it's when you're doing cosplay through social media and trying to build, especially if you're trying to build a following behind it, it's a lot of it is kind of competitive, because even though you're not necessarily feeling competitive while you're doing it, you are trying to say, well, watch my video. You're not saying don't watch that video, but you're saying watch mine first. And like it more.
Yeah. In your head, you're kind of like, well, you know, it'd be nice if you guys liked my stuff first. But yeah, it's kind of a, like, it has become less about the sort of community feeling when it's like cosplayers kind of going up against each other, which is kind of sad, because like it's nice when you can collab and stuff and like bring like channels together and like help each other. Like I've loved doing that, like for the small times that I've done that, you know, but I want to do that more, because I really like that kind of idea that people just come together and therefore build their following together sort of thing. And
I think it's
I like
as cosplayers, it's pushing towards making sure that happens, because you tend to find a lot of people have the same feelings about it. They're like, yeah, I just wish there was more community in it. You're just like, well, get off your butt and do collabs with folk, engage with your audience more, look at making content which portrays that is what you're looking to do. Talk about it on your channel. Start a CosChat thing, which is all about interacting with cosplayers on Twitch, live with people in the comments, asking questions. Would you look at that? And you're talking about making it more community.
Yes, exactly. Like, I think people have become kind of selfish. Well, like, obviously not everyone, but I feel like it has become this sort of like, well, how many followers do you have? You know, like, it's this sort of like going, I have the 3 best followers in the whole world. I love you guys.
And 2 of them are my gran under different names.
Oh, that would make me so happy. But it's kind of become a bit aggressive, I find. It's kind of like, oh, well, you stole some of my followers when we collabed. You know, like, you know, if it becomes like that, then that's really bad. You know.
I think it's remembering at the end of the day what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because if your idea is, I want to make a living out of YouTube, then go you. But, like, don't sort of ruin the days of people who are like, I like dressing up as a fictional character, because at the end of the day, you're an adult in a costume, so you need to kind of be aware of that, and take it with the kind of seriousness that deserves, which is not a heck of a lot,
I think it depends. I really think cosplay has become like more than that in some respects. Like, you know, I mean, yeah, fair enough. That can be what it's like for a load of people. Like, it's just for fun and everything like that. But I feel like it has sort of become like an entertainment thing. You know, when you do skits and CMVs, it's actually entertainment now. You know, it's sort of more than just you going outside on your own. It's like, for me, when I'm getting ready to do CMVs and skits, like, it feels like a job because I'm sitting down, I'm getting into cosplay, no one knows I'm doing it but me, and I'm filming it, you know. Which it sort of feels very private, you know. It's not something that you like. It's like, you know, if you're just cosplaying to go to conventions, that's because you want people to see you and interact with you. But when you're doing it as a kind of, well, job, in inverted commas, it's different. It's because it's what you're motivating yourself to do, like to actually make content.
Because a lot of people don't see that if they are not, I feel YouTube especially is a massive sink for effort. Because you don't get paid to do YouTube. Very few cosplayers can legally monetize their content on YouTube. Because obviously you're doing parody works of stuff that's not necessarily strictly yours. You can't take for that. So you're doing it for the love of doing it, because you like making people smile, or you like making people cry, if you're one of those cosplayers that like to be like, oh, it would be funny if we just
to get the feels
you,
going.
Bethan, sent me those Magitech prompt tool pictures earlier before the stream. Just jab the knife in there, just give it a wee bit of a wiggle. But yeah, that kind of brings us interestingly on though. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say one last thing. Oh, yes. Yes, let's move on to that. It's a good idea. What have I been working on recently? Gosh, quite a few things. I kind of changed my channel up from being all about cosplay to actually doing different things. Some of them are still related to cosplay. I've been doing body paint, more body paint than I have done in the past, because I've been experimenting with that. And I've started to do these things called makeup challenges, which is basically just me picking a kind of, you know, like look and then filming myself try it for the first time and then put it on my channel, which has been quite good, and people have found that really entertaining. Yeah, that's my Sugar Skull makeup, which is the Day of the Dead, you know, the Mexican skulls that they get, and I did the sort of male version of that, the Senor skull, which is great. But that one, sadly, I didn't video. That was one I did just for my Instagram and my Facebook. That was just a kind of like whim. Didn't think about filming it, but I wish I had, because I think that would have been quite entertaining, because I'd never tried it before, so it was a lot of trial and error.
There's a little something for you next Halloween time for some themed content.
Yes, I know, right? Because I love making themed content. That's been the thing I have done. I made a Halloween special with Sebastian and CL, which is just a kind of like Black Butler themed Halloween special. But I have to say, I wish I could go back in time and change Sebastian's eyebrows because they are very, very high, and it was when I was still. I did. It was Halloween. He was meant to be scary. I mean, come on. But people keep commenting saying like, "Oh my God, your eyebrows are so wrong." And I think eyebrows have become a very big obsession for people who comment.
YouTube is obsessed with eyebrows. We had to turn off comments on a video because people were really hung up on eyebrows. To the point of like
your eyebrows are wrong
over the color of eyebrows. So yeah, we get how you feel there.
Yeah, so Sebastian's eyebrows have been a big discussion, and I wish I could go back in time and realize my mistake. Because I realized it was a mistake. Like, I didn't mean to do them that high, but it was because I was still experimenting with his makeup. So I wasn't entirely like brilliant at it. I was just sort of making it up. But yeah, recently I have done, well, I did my first Auron skit. Basically, Tamaki having a bit of a bad day, which has been great fun to film. It's been really great fun, and I want to do much more Auron because it's one of my favorite animes.
It's just
but
such
yeah,
a
that's
sweet
been
show. And like you say, it's one
Oh,
of
did you
those
watch
fan
it?
favorites as well.
Have you seen Auron then? Yes.
Oh
You must
yeah,
have. Yeah.
I'm an old cosplayer and anime fan. Like I
Oh,
remember
good.
not dubbed. So
Oh,
Grandpa's just gonna sit on
gosh.
back here and let the whippersnappers run around and see if he's ever watched anime.
Honestly, Auron just makes my heart happy because it's so happy and kind of like, but it's also like super deep and meaningful, like the whole story and everything. And I think they're bringing out a new season finally after how many bloody years?
Many
Yeah,
years.
many. And I think it's finally happening, and I'm so excited about that. So I thought it was about time I did some Auron. So I did do some Auron, and I've had so much fun.
Because it's got a really different feel to your Emperor's New Clothes video, which has got a crazy number of views on it, hasn't it? We were talking
Yes,
about
it has
21K on that one video.
21K. Yeah,
That's crazy. I think
it is
Snow's
crazy.
got a little clip of it here that we can let folk watching the stream see in a few minutes. But yeah. It really shows, I think, how amazing Victor's filming skills are as well.
It's honestly so much fun to create visuals with music that I love. I think that has my favorite thing to do. It's what like passion kind of going. Also, I'm super proud of it.
You should be. It's
one of the biggest comments I've got is people asking why Sebastian has fangs, and I'm like, demon. Obviously. Everyone's like, why Sebastian has fangs? Have you guys even read the manga or watched the anime? But yeah, honestly, like, I have so much fun making my CMVs. It's my favorite thing to do. It's because my original passion has been filmmaking and directing and acting. So,
and it definitely shows seeing videos like this. Like, it's so smooth. You can see, and I'm pretty sure the chat can agree, that you know why this has got the number of views that it does.
Oh gosh, thank you.
Pretty cool.
I've been very inspired by especially surrealist filmmakers. So like using odd imagery to express certain scenes and like, you know, playing with angles and colors. Honestly, it really is the thing that I love is making these kind of visual treats with music, because music's always been super important to me. You know, I just need to kind of listen to something and I'll be like, you know what, I could do a really good kind of bunch of imagery to that. You know, it sort of just goes on in my head. But yeah,
instant music videos courtesy of Victor's brain. Like that's pretty cool stuff. But yeah, no, because you, as you were saying, you do a lot of different styles of content now, and you're trying to branch out more. Because you've got obviously your CMVs, and you're also looking at filming your makeup tutorials as well.
Am I back?
You're back. There we go. Sorry, guys. We
Oh,
had a little bit of
gosh.
technical difficulties there for a second.
Unfortunately,
that
is my
we were down
country-side
one
internet.
Victor, but we've got him back now. We can't skip that easy.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a stunning CMV.
Oh, thank you so much.
Definitely don't think you've got the quality issue. That's for sure. But I don't know if you caught us before you lost your stream.
Unfortunately, I missed quite a
now
bit,
working,
I think.
You are now working on, alongside your CMVs, people don't need to panic that they're getting abandoned, but you're also going to be working on lots of makeup, sort of, not quite tutorials, but sort of more along the line of a kind of get ready with me kind of thing almost, isn't it?
Yeah. They're basically...
as opposed to...
Yeah. They're basically challenges, makeup challenges. Basically just people watching me try looks for the first time. Me filming my, like making mistakes, I make some mistakes, like, and I have to go over them and try them again. But it's basically just people in the comments are leaving me suggestions for what they want me to challenge myself with next, because it's become a kind of passion of mine to experiment with makeup. But yeah, it's been really interesting because I enjoy it. Enjoy it because I like seeing the creative process behind it.
Well, you've got quite a chameleon face, haven't you? You don't look the same in all of your stuff. You paint really well.
People say that. People say that. Yeah, it's weird. But
so I think we've got a little bit of your robot makeup video here that Snow can run for us, and you can kind of
sure,
give everyone a wee idea.
Yeah. Yeah, so robot makeup was something I wanted to try for a long time because it's so different from what I usually do. So yeah, it's basically just trying it for the first time, seeing how it goes, and I was actually quite surprised at the results, to be honest. But yeah, it's basically just music sped up with me, just the video sped up with the music behind it, which can be quite fun to watch. I think it's quite hypnotizing to watch, like, makeup being put on very fast for some reason. I quite like doing that.
For sure.
So, yeah. But I don't have very good makeup at the moment. I just have the cheapest possibly imagine. So it's it's not ideal. But it works. Like I'm very pleased with, especially like my steady hand, because I don't have a steady hand, and I was like, how am I going to do these these lines?
How are we going to get this looking sort of manufactured and less sort of organic?
I know, because usually I like doing swirly kind of patterns and things like that, but straight lines for me are hard things to do. So yeah, but already I was just kind of like making it up as I went along. I had a few reference images just to kind of like give me an idea of what the look was that I was going for. You know, but mostly it was just, well, what does a robot look like to me in my head, you know? So it was just a kind of experiment, really.
Playing around with different shapes and colours and stuff. No,
yeah.
I mean, why not? If you've got a platform just to mess around and enjoy playing about with me.
Yeah, it's great. It's great fun.
Who's here to stop you?
You know, honestly, it's been so much fun after getting a bit more of a following to really experiment with what kind of videos I upload, because I think people do want to see different things. You know, they want to see kind of, you know, new and exciting things rather than just the same old stuff. And I know that some people probably like the familiarity. How do you say that word? I don't know. Of
familiarity.
Of just the cosplay. Familiarity. Yes, that's it. Of just the cosplay videos. But I felt like, you know, making these kind of original characters, you know, people might be interested in them now. I've got a bit more of a following. So yeah, I was even like, well, what should we name these characters? You know, giving people a bit of a kind of insight into, like, you know, it almost. So yeah, but honestly, it was so much fun to do this particular one. I a huge mistake that I actually cut out from the video because it took so long for me to fix it. I thought no one's going to want to watch that. And I basically I drew lines from my nose going down to the corners of my mouth. And it looked very wrong. So I actually spent ages covering it with white. So that's something that you missed out on. Because I felt it just got too
those
long.
are my favourite bits. I'm one of those people who watches content and like if there's a bloopers for something, I'm like, I'm right in there.
Yes.
I love me a good blooper reel.
Oh yes, I love them too. I love making them as well when I'm editing the blooper reel and I'm realizing what I did wrong. It's quite hilarious. They're my favorite things to do as well as like making of videos. I find that they're quite good for people because if people are wanting to make their own content, they can get an idea of what they do, you know. But yeah, the shading on this one was fun. It was a lot of fun because it was just kind of like making it look a bit more like it was actually attached to my face. These kind of strange
the plates.
Yeah, steel plates. But yeah, that's just Snazaroo face paint. That's just like the cheapest face paint you can get. So.
But you don't, I think it shows that you don't need always to have the most amazing quality base tools.
Yeah.
What we have been talking about the quality that people expect, but it's showing that, you know, if you've got a cool idea, there's nothing stopping you trying it.
Exactly.
You don't need to be sitting there like armpits deep in Mayron to be allowed to do a makeup video.
So it really shows that it's kind of just giving it a go. Yeah, it's just kind of, you know, I feel like I look so weird when I start talking because it looks like my mouth shouldn't move like that. But yeah,
it should just drop like a marionette. Yeah.
Yeah. I was super glad like how well it went because I thought, oh god, I'm filming this, you know, people are going to see what I create. But I wasn't too embarrassed in the end.
But yeah, no, I agree with recorded Victor. I'm waiting for a series. And the chat apparently really wants to see fawn and mermaid stuff. So maybe we don't know.
Who said that? Sorry,
that might be something to maybe see later. But at the moment,
I missed
what
that
we're going to do
sorry.
is we're going to take a quick break. But we will be back, and after that quick break, it went in quick, didn't it, Victor?
Very quick.
Break, we're going to be taking your questions. So we're going to have a little Q&A time with Victor. So we've got questions already that we've had amassed beforehand, but if you have any that you want answered specifically, if you drop them down into the chat box just now, we'll read through them on the break and we'll get back to you guys and hopefully get them all answered for you. So we'll see you in a mo, okay?
Yes.
See you in a bit, guys.
Bye, guys.
Hey guys, welcome back. We are now all fed and watered and we're ready to dive into your questions. So the chat's been busy, so I'm going to start first with the ones we got in beforehand and then we're going to scoot on into the ones that you sent us today. The opening one is, what inspired you to start cosplay?
Well, it's quite funny because I actually didn't really know what cosplay was at all until I suddenly thought one day when I was watching Black Butler, do you know what? I'd love to just dress up as Grell. You know, like that's what I thought in my head was like dress up as, like just like I actually didn't have any friends that were cosplayers, didn't even know what it was. And then I looked for like Grell, like my friend, like I think it was Dan and Jay knew what cosplay was and they were like, oh, you know, that's called cosplay. And I was like, oh, what? Okay. So I looked up Grell cosplay and I saw some Grell cosplayers and I was like, oh, that looks like fun. So I just decided to start off with just like making a Grell cosplay, just for MCM. I think it was MCM Glasgow, 2015. So I haven't been cosplaying very long. That was my first ever convention, and that was a brilliant experience. And I have to say that going to my first convention was probably the thing that made me realize how fun it was. And character and staying in character. I've always been an actor. Like I've always loved acting, so it was like an excuse to act as a character I already knew, rather than a different character. You know, so it was it was Grell that inspired me. So it was watching Black Butler that inspired me to cosplay. But yeah, it's kind of odd because I actually didn't know what cosplay was at all. So people often are like, "Oh, well, I saw this cosplayer once," and I'm like, "I didn't know what it was." So. Yeah.
This was a new thing for me and I just dove into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Next question. As everyone in the stream will know, Victor is quite known for his amazing painting skills. His makeup is always pretty on point. What would you recommend for people that are wanting to start getting into playing around with makeup and face paints?
Oh gosh. Well, for me, I didn't really think I just took a brush, dipped it in some paint, and applied it to my face in a reasonably nice way. Like, I think I'd had a bit of practice with makeup, like doing the eyeliner and stuff for Grell and all my other kind of Black Butler cosplay. So I gained a bit more of a kind of artist's hand for like painting. Although I've always been an artist as well. Like I've done art in many different forms. So I think it helps a bit if you know how to draw. You know, if you're a good painter or artist anyway, you can kind of get the right shapes that you want. Because it sucks to have this idea in your head and you're like, this is what I want to do, and then you put brush to face and it just goes like all over here, you know. So I think just practice. If you have a particular look in mind, just keep doing it until you feel like you get that look you're going for, and then make up a random look. I just say go for it. Like, look up some inspiration. You know, if you want to do like fawn makeup, but you want to do your own version of it, well, look up what the basics are of that look and then do your thing with it. But I just say practice, and that's a way you'll get the kind of technique. So yeah, just go for it.
Someone on the chat was asking, who helps you film?
Well, mostly it's me on my own that films. So I also run away and get it in focus and everything. But it's mostly my brother, Jay. He is obviously lives with me. So I just get him to help me where I can. And he actually didn't really do much camera work at all until I forced him to help me with my channel. Like, he's always kind of been slightly into sort of photography and things like that. But it was only after I said, look, do you know what? I want this like shot where it's like running up to me and I can't do that on my own. So could you just hold the camera there? And like, you know, it was more like I direct Jay for most of the shots. And it's mostly just kind of like, you know, do this particular thing. So it's mostly like ideas. But Jay's starting to get his own ideas now for shots, which is super cool. So yeah, it's mostly Jay. But mostly I do my own camera work. I am. It's an apprentice.
The next question is, so we found out previous kind of that you didn't really get into cosplay like a lot of people did. So this could have an interesting answer. Did you have cosplayers that you looked up to when you kind of got started cosplaying? So obviously you didn't get into cosplay going, this is cosplay, I'm going to try this thing. You put a costume on, then realized you were cosplaying. And it kind of went from there.
Yeah. Gosh, cosplayers I look up to. Oh, that's quite a difficult one, because it was definitely like later on when I just started like, liking other cosplayers for the work they did. I suppose there wasn't one that was like inspired. Like I wouldn't check a particular profile of a cosplayer to like get inspiration. It was more just like, well, what am I doing? Which is odd. I don't think many people do it that way. They probably do have like a kind of idol. I don't know. I think in terms of, and doing more on my channel, I think probably Jack from Parlay Productions, in his kind of way of presenting and acting, as well as obviously his skill in cosplay as well. But I think I related to him well as a person. I felt like we were quite similar people in some respects. So I think I looked up to him the most for his YouTube kind of presence and his videos and things like that. Yeah, but it's sad that Parlay is not happening anymore. But yeah.
Well, I think most of the chat can agree that is probably one of their entries into cosplay on YouTube, though, was good old Parlay Productions.
Yes.
So I feel like you have a lot of similar feelings on that out there.
Yeah.
Question from the chat was, where do you see yourself in a year's time? Because obviously you have had such crazy exponential growth in your first year. Now almost a year and a half. Where is Victor Lockhart going to be a year from today? Apart from hopefully doing these wonderful streams with us now and again. We'll be
I hope so too.
And find out how this has all changed to everyone, won't we?
I know. Well, to be honest with you, it's hard to tell because subscriber counts and things like that can fluctuate so much that I don't really think I can predict very much how it's going to increase or decrease. But I hope to see myself making more elaborate videos with a bigger budget. So things with more story, maybe even with better equipment now. And things like that, just upping my kind of quality even more than, and also more videos. I would love to do that. But also I desperately want to visit more conventions, so like down in London, things like that. That would be great because I actually have never been to a convention anywhere other than Glasgow. So I'm a bit of a home bird, to be honest. So I'd like to travel more with my cosplay, I think. But that's quite hard when I have like no budget. So I think an increase in budget would be great if that was what was happening next year. So I could afford to do things like that. But yeah, upping my quality, I think, and more videos. That's where I see myself.
Well, funnily enough, one of the questions was, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do? So I think we can safely say you'd probably do more conventions, not in Glasgow.
Possibly, yes, although I probably would... Oh gosh, that's a hard one because I have an idea that I want to do more Shakespeare. And I want to do more Shakespeare on my channel, which is something I've not really discussed very much with people. But I desperately want to like bring Shakespeare to people that may not kind of like him or understand him, because I've always been a huge Shakespeare nut. And I feel like I've already helped people kind of get into classical music, because I always use classical music in my videos. And people are like, you got me into classical music. And I'm like, really? So... help get people into Shakespeare. Like I would love to have my own kind of troupe somehow. That's something I would do. And I think if I had all the money in the world, well, I'd definitely be making more cosplay, that's for sure. I'd be making all the cosplay I want to do. Like I've been trying to make Fenris, but that's just not happening because I can't even afford like to start that yet, because I'm already working on like Loki and all these other taking a long time. So yeah, I think
a very, very serious question that's just come up in the chat, and I've been reminded that I need to go back to it, and it is, sorry, I just scrolled past because you all keep reminding me to ask it, is, do chickens live in the woods or film? And if so, are they wild chickens? Because what the hecky? Oh, I think we've lost
forest. We
Victor.
actually own
1
that
second.
land.
Oh no,
Oh,
there we
sorry.
go.
Did you hear what I
You
said,
died for
or
a
will I
second,
repeat
but you're
myself?
back. We did not get a word of that.
Right. Okay. So, no, they're not wild chickens. They're our chickens. We own that land. We own that forest. The forest that you see in all of my videos, that's our family's land. So, yeah, we have our farm animals down there. We have pigs. We have the horses there. We have the cows. And the chickens are there too. But they have free run of the forest during the day. And then we lock them up at night. So, yeah, that's the story behind that.
There we go. So that's been sorted. So everyone can calm their jimmies in the chat.
Exactly.
Cosplay
Wow.
pet peeve. Try saying that again 10 times
Ooh.
fast.
Oh gosh, pet peeve. I don't know if I have one. Thing, which is when you have to conceal your eyebrows. I actually hate doing that because I hate the feeling of like, and I also hate the look of it because I can never get it right. Is you always see the hair coming through, no matter how much you like, how hard you try. Basically, it's always like you can see the texture of the like eyebrows, and like some people shave off their eyebrows. I don't see why they do that, because for me, covering your eyebrows is like, but it's because my eyebrows are so like I don't pluck them at all. Like some people have very thin eyebrows, but I have very thick eyebrows, so it's like, yeah. I think once I have a cosplay where I have to cover my eyebrows, I just sit there and I'm like, do I have to?
Why am I having to do this?
Exactly.
You have a question of what is your next hair color?
Oh, well, yeah. I've been trying to grow out my natural hair because I've been like bleaching it or dyeing it black and stuff like that. Like I keep going away from my natural color because it's just kind of brown, really. It's just sort of.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir here.
So like, but for me, I really want to go blonde again, but it's a pain because it just, my roots keep coming through and it's just obvious that it's dyed, and because my hair grows so fast, it was getting on my nerves. So I am trying to keep my natural hair color, but I do not know how long that will last. So
we've got another question. This one's more cosplay related again. Oh my god, the chat is going so fast. You're far too popular for me to keep
wow.
scrolling.
Oh wow.
Is, while you've been known for CMVs and makeup skills, ever thought of trying new genres of cosplay? Armor, machine builds, for example?
Ooh, now that is exciting. I think, again, it would have to be if I had all the money in the world, I would try doing things like that. Because right now I don't think my skill is at that level. I haven't had enough practice with those kind of materials. But I would love to. That would be something I would definitely I'd give that a go if I felt I could do it. So who knows? I mean, yeah, I think that's a possibility. Definitely.
But like you were saying, you don't know where you're going to be at next year, so
Who knows?
could be seeing you in a full Iron Man costume for all anybody knows.
I've always wanted to do that. I have to admit, I've wanted to do the full Iron Man. So yeah, possibly. You have to watch.
We've got a question here of what's a fandom /solo/game etc. that you enjoy costumes from but would never cosplay from yourself? Well, which I suppose makes sense because sometimes you see, I enjoy that, and I like the costumes, but they're not really for me.
Oh gosh. That's funny because most of the things I enjoy, I think about like, oh, one day I'll cosplay that person. So I don't know. That's kind of a hard one because I tend to go all in, like on a passion of mine. Like if I get a kind of like obsession with like a fandom or something, I'll just be like, oh well, I'll definitely cosplay that one character. But I mean, it's not that I don't want to cosplay from this fandom, but I think it's incredibly difficult. And the kind of like incredibly complicated armor and things like that. Like I admire it and I absolutely love the people that make Mass Effect like cosplays and things like that, but it's like it's almost something that seems so complicated. I'm not sure if I could do it. You know, so it's not so much that I wouldn't cosplay things. It's more like, oh well, do I have the skills to make those?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, most of the fandoms that I'm in, like, I want to represent it in some way. Yeah.
As a run on from that, would you say that you've got a dream cosplay? If you had all the skills already at your fingertips, what would be the costume that if someone said, you know, if you wake up tomorrow, you have this costume, it's just ready to wear, straight out the door, good to go. What would that costume be?
I think, I know this sounds like it's not super complicated, but I loved Thranduil's battle armor. You know, in The Hobbit? So, you know that amazing elven...
that is complicated. I tried to make that once.
Oh, did you? Oh, gosh.
Yeah. You'll have noticed you've never seen pictures of it. Because it never got beyond the breastplate. So...
Oh, wow. Well, that would be... that, like, even just Thranduil's normal outfit. Like, for me, like, his look. Like, that beautiful, like... gorgeous, like, coat he wears. Like, that looks like it would take ages to make, but I would adore that cosplay because I feel like I would get so much into character with Thranduil. Also Legolas. I want to do Legolas as well, but his outfit's pretty damn complicated, and there's the bow and all that stuff. So, I mean, probably from Tolkien, like the Tolkien universe. Like, I want to do Gandalf one day as well, but I think that's when I'm going to be much older, so I can, I don't know, probably grow the beard myself.
Long-term goals for cosplay.
Yeah.
We've got someone asking, is there a cosplay you would never do? Is there a character, not necessarily from a fandom you are part of, whatever, but is there a costume you're like, I will never cosplay as X character?
I think I have to say, like, if we're talking about familiar characters, I think probably Aloys from Black Butler. Because I've never really liked him as a character. I've never really liked him. And I don't know, I think I would be very uncomfortable cosplaying him. I'm totally, like, fine. Like, people cosplay Aloys, and they have done, like, when I've hosted meets and stuff. I don't have, like, a problem with, you know, Aloys cosplay. It's just that, like, I wouldn't personally get into that cosplay and feel like I was doing a good thing. I would feel uncomfortable. Yeah. I don't know if there's more, but there probably is. I mean, I never cosplay female characters, so, like, any sort of female character. Although I cosplayed Grell and I cosplayed Haruhi, so that's, like, the only two I ever have done them. But I think anything, like, super feminine, no. I wouldn't do any of those. So, yeah.
Someone was asking, have you ever accidentally ruined a cosplay item while you were working on it?
Oh, yeah. I ruined quite a lot of things on my Dorian armor when I was making it. Like, I had to build things over and over because they weren't working out. Like, I thought I had it done, and then it was just I just kept breaking it because it wasn't, like, sound as a costume. It just kept, like, ripping, and I was like, oh well, I have to start that
There's
again.
Nothing
you know,
worse especially when it's a character you're so in love with, and you're just trying. It's like, please, shh, just do my bidding. Just do my bidding. Listen to me. Do what my brain is telling you.
Yeah, and it's sad because, like, you and things like that. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, which is a good. I only saying because it was a good follow-on. Is what's the future of Dorian Pavis cosplay for you?
Oh well, I have to say I want to make all the Dorian outfits. So, like, you know, and I also want to do kind of like my own versions of things. Like, I've seen these beautiful AU designs of Dorian in this kind of like peacock kimono and stuff like that. You know, this is kind of like the aesthetic of Dorian is something I very much appreciate. So I think
for sure. Like, the first one I ever done, because I, like yourself, I'm a fellow Dorian cosplayer. Like, to Vinter or nothing, man. To Vinter or nothing. Was Black Divine, which like you say, is a completely AU concept for the thing. You're just like gold and black everywhere, gold and black everywhere, gold and black.
Oh, gold and black is so Dorian. Like, I love that. But I think for me, in terms of the future of Dorian on my channel, I think I'm going to do so many more skits. And, like, I also have a few really hilarious CMV ideas for Dorian that are going to be, like, I just can't wait to show you guys those because I have some really big ideas for Dorian. So, yeah, Dorian's always going to have a huge presence on my channel, definitely. It's going to be good. You just wait and see.
Another question was, or it was before it jumped back up, was cosplay Final Fantasy 15. That's not a question, more of a you just should.
Well, I've seen
that
so
as you will.
many. I've seen so many cosplays, obviously, like quite a lot in my friend group as well, and like the people I know on Instagram, like Apollo Cosplay and Electric Kid, things like that. Like they just do all this like Final Fantasy cosplay, and I've actually never played it, and so I feel like very, very like outside of this fandom. I have no idea what it is, but so like I feel like I should, and I should probably start it so that I can actually want to cosplay one of the characters and do that, because I mean it's super popular right now. It's super huge. So yeah. And you're cosplaying Prompto, aren't you?
Oh Jesus, yeah.
Hide behind you.
It's all her fault. So really, what I should be Dorian's all her fault as well. So what I should really be saying is stay away from Auntie Bethan, because she's full of terrible ideas. And
no, she's great.
All of them will hurt you. Because she likes her angst. So
oh no.
She likes her angst. She likes to make you cry with fanfic. And
I don't like crying.
Well, it's too late for that, buddy. It's too late for that. You're a cosplayer
now. Oh gosh.
Oh God, yeah, you would be a great Arden or Iggy. So that is something.
Okay, I'll look them up and see. Yeah.
But yeah, Arden's a dirty hobo, but he's a dirty British hobo.
So that's why you thought of me.
There's that. But yeah, you should get yourself onto a stream of that, or a playthrough of that online.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
But it looks like we've finally come to the end of our questions.
Cry.
And we've all survived. We've all made it to the end of our first stream now on a Friday. So I would like to thank you all for coming. And I'd also thank our wonderful guest, Victor, for being here through it all with us.
Thank you.
And I'd also like to invite you all back for next Friday. Because next Friday, we have the amazing Junior Cosplay joining us. And we'll be talking about lots of other fun and exciting bits and pieces, similar to how we did today. And you'll be getting to ask her your exciting questions. So hopefully we'll see you again this time next week, or well, an hour ago this time next week. But thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yes, thank you guys. It's been fun. Bye.